Summer is here. I think in the sun it is at least 100 degrees. So we have cleaned this up a little bit. We're getting ready to put something down and add rock here, but right now our potatoes needed to be lifted up so they could drain. Potatoes are doing good. They're nice and big. I think they're about 6 weeks in or so. We had a video on that. I'm gonna pull these out before the sun hits it. Today, this is our salad greens. They're all starting to bolt. It's getting too hot for lettuces and such. This is red romaine, leaf lettuce, tango, but we can still cut it and we'll have a good salad. Cilantro, but I won't pull him out because he's attracting pollinators. A little bit of dill. This is a weed. This is a sorrel. And this is kale. That's Scottish curled kale. It's doing good still. I planted it recently, so we'll probably snip it and maybe make it a little bushier. These are radish greens. They didn't produce the roots, so you can eat the greens and the pods on radishes. But we're getting some pests. It just needs cleared out and kind of give it some time. I'm gonna maybe put some Swiss chard over here. It does really good in the heat. Cleaned up in our asparagus bed. Got a few coming through. And he's thicker, so he does good. But the rest we're kind of letting go to fern. And I'm trying to find some seed pods. They may have all fallen. See, they've flowered. My hands are dirty from the tomatoes. So they'll hopefully get some seeds over here for next year. Our sunflowers that were volunteers, but I'm letting them shade the asparagus. Got my cabbages and broccoli doing well. A few volunteer sunflowers, green stalks. I think I planted it 2 or 3 days ago. It's not showing any signs of plants coming through yet. Peppers, we've had a few peppers come through, mainly the purple lilac bells. But we've got mostly bell peppers. My kids will eat those raw. And then we've got violet sparkle Elisa, hatch peppers, and one heatless jalapeno with no spice to it, just the flavor of a jalapeno. I've got a wasp that's not too happy with me right now, so I might have to go a different way. I like wasps in the garden. If I've not said it before, they eat tomato worms. We've watched it ourselves. They will just go around the caterpillar's head, and then they take off with its body and they eat it. It is the creepiest thing ever, but they can have them. This is one that I'm not pruning. He's getting a little crazy and bushy here, but he has some fruit. I just saw it down here. I don't know what kind it is. This was an extra tomato, so I didn't have it marked. We've got a few tomatoes in this bed. It's just kind of overrun. It's kind of where my volunteers go. I need a bigger volunteer bed. I've always said that. Just somewhere to stick those things that start growing that I hate to throw out, because it's, look at it. It's perfectly good. It was one of the first ones fruiting, so no reason to throw that out. My San Marzano's on the fence. Doing good. The chard there, real tall, is needing chopped down. I'll probably have him as our greens tonight. We got carrots there. Oregano still taking over. Green onions. Our kohlrabi and poppies and kale mix. Doing good. Onions. Bulb onions will probably be harvested within a week. I keep saying that, but they're not quite ready. Almost there. Our corn is, I don't know, 2.5 feet tall. And then down here I have zucchini. I've got 3 zucchinis. The ones on the side are really small, but we discussed how the corn is also tall and relevant how much sun it gets. Not only from side to side, you can see how important it is for your corn to get full sun. You see how they're a little smaller on the sides. very much in the middle, and I hope I can show this to you. And then in the back, where the fence was shading a little, it's smaller down there. It's shorter even down there than it is in the middle here. The shadow is now further to the fence, but when I planted it, that shadow was on this landscaping timber over here, and a little bit over some parts of the day. So you could see that corn didn't get the sun to start off that this did. It's very important for that corn to have full sun. It's such a small garden, it's hard to get a bigger, back up and get you a better picture. This arch is filling in. All my snow peas are coming in really well. We stuck some sugar babies at the bottom of the snow peas, so when the peas come out, the watermelons will take over. Got butternut squash and some beans going up here, and my loofah in the back, getting ready to trellis. Snow peas growing good. They're mammoth snow peas. They're ready to harvest. That'll be a really good salad. Those are some of my favorite greens. I don't love all my vegetables raw. Those are just amazing. I can eat those raw. My Dollar Tree herb pot doing good. Just sticking little volunteers in there. A little bit of everything. And this trellis has got peas on it, but it is shelling peas. I did the purple variety, as I mentioned earlier, because you can see the purple pods to harvest a lot easier. And these are some of the purple pods. I injured myself yesterday with scissors cutting tomatoes. Be careful, don't do that. There's a purple pod, and the flowers are just beautiful. Purple all throughout here. They were not flowering, and I was struggling with that. And if you have peas that are not flowering and it's getting hot, they don't like the heat, they're going to die soon, give them bone meal, and within a week all these flowers showed up. So highly would recommend that. I've got a butternut squash at the base of him, again to trellis as soon as these guys are out. Kentucky Wonder Beans. Oh wow, they're curving. His is up at the top of the arch, and he's looking towards the sun, so I just take him and kind of guide him. So, but he is at the top of this arch. And they've got some flowers towards the bottom, as well as this scarlet runner bean. Beautiful red flowers. I just love those. Those will be good for the hummingbirds, whether we like the beans or not. I've never grown them. Potato is going to come out in a week or so, and then the tomatoes are doing good. I've got sunflowers shading a little bit during the heat of the day, and it's working out really well. Now, I did have to clip the base of these, and I would suggest it because you need a better airflow. But see, at these little nubs, I went ahead and clipped some of his lower leaves. Don't clip a lot of his leaves. He needs to get sun, but that way you get good airflow and it promotes him growing up. And that's exactly what I want sunflowers to do, is I want them to grow faster and higher than those tomatoes because they're the shade. Borage is going on 4 feet tall. It's going to be taller than me before the end of the summer. Let's see back here. Now, about the ties on the tomatoes, I did have to replace some of them. This one's kind of gnarly, but it was cutting into them. So I took those twisty ties off, and I got some string. It was just going to cut itself in half if it kept growing. Blackberries are covered in blooms. I went ahead and fed them when they bloomed so that they get that boost they need to produce big, flavorful fruits. And this one died, so I had too much peppermint, and we have a half gallon of dried peppermint right now, so we're good on peppermint. Stuck him back there. These are kind of a purplish tint flowers, so I'm not really sure if that's a nutrient thing because they all came from the same place. And these are white. And then our grapevine back here, we've been learning, trellising, and doing our best with him. He may go over to that fence. Now, I did learn a few things about the grapevine. I bought him on clearance. It was like $5, and apparently he wasn't the most desirable because of this. I had put him in this, which we are going to have to cut this wire off. He's not hurting anything now, but we don't want it. See how it splits at the bottom? you don't want it to split at the bottom. Apparently you want one vine going up. Can't cut him now or it'll kill him. So we'll end up cutting that, trying to make him a single vine. And the reason they don't want that is because it's one root feeding basically 2 plants. So it's not going to be as good for the plant. We'll see how it does. We'll see if his grapes are stunted or what. Doesn't look like they're stunted right now. He's trying to go everywhere. I don't have enough wires for him. We took the suggestions and it's still growing too big. And we're just going to plan on, like how he's coming across. When he comes across, we're just going to let him take this over and give him this for this year. It'll be fine. The yard is wet and a mess. We've hung stuff up out there. But we've got more San Marzanos on the fence. And they're doing good. They weren't growing very good at first. They're popping up again. It might have been the bugs, but they're really happy and healthy now. See, their leaves are a little different than the other ones. They're just different variety. And then some dill. And we got our last turnip here. I'm letting him get a little bigger. And my basil is finally getting a little bigger. It took him a while, but he's gonna go, there's 2 Genovese basils, and that is going to go where that potato is right now when I pull that potato out. So he's just chilling in this bed until further notice.